Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is me Namrata. Hope you all are doing great. And as you can see, I'm wearing makeup on my face. Face is done except eyes, and that's what I'm gonna do with you all. And I'll be using two different palettes, as you know by the title. So these are the palettes I'll be using today. One is very affordable drugstore palette. This is by WetnWild. This is their Rose in the Air. The other one is Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, and they both have similar shades, so I can say it's clearly a dupe of this one. So I'd say this is really a great cheap option in the drugstore if you want more neutral and pinky palm sort of shades. In this palette you won't have individual names for all the shades, where in ABH palette there is names for all the colors, and it's written here transition. Only these two are transition colors, and mostly all are mattes in this palette, which I really like about this palette. And I think in drugstore metallic shadows are not yet the best. Still there is something needs to be done, you know, to improve the quality of metallic shadows. They are still a bit chunky, which I don't really love, but still they are good. So it has only these two metallic shadows, and it comes with 10 beautiful shadows, where in ABH palette you'll be getting 14 shadows, I guess. So before I get into the tutorial, let me show you all the swatches. Let's start with the WetnWild palette on the side, and I'll be starting with this transition color right here. It's sort of a burnt orange shade, and I'm gonna put it in my upper crease area. As you can see, it's nicely pigmented and you can build on the color very easily. It doesn't look patchy even with 2-3 layers. It's really nice. And now I'm gonna do the other eye, and I'm gonna use a different brush for that. I'll be very much loyal with my eyeshadow application. Actually, I was curious to know like how similar they look on eyes at the same time. This is why I'm filming this video. It's just fun. So I'm gonna take this shade right here. It's called burnt orange, and I described the shade in the WetnWild palette as burnt orange shade. So it's pretty similar. So let's pick this shade. And it's needless to say how great and pigmented the colors are in the ABH palette. But as you can see, this color right here is a little lighter than this one. This one has got more warm tone in it. So I'm done applying this shade. Both are nicely pigmented but not completely same. And now I'm gonna pick this shade right here. This is called Bone Fresco. It's a very pale cool tone lavender shade. So let's just apply it, and I'm gonna put it on my lid and blending it with the previous shade. It was really easy to blend both the shades, and you can't see any harsh line, which is really great. And now I'm gonna pick the similar shade right here, and it doesn't have any name, but I'm gonna apply it in the same way. Okay, this one looks completely similar with the ABH shade. Blending is done on this eye as well, and as you can see how similar they're looking right now. It's pretty close, except this transition color, it's little warmer and still picking through, and here it's looking more diffused. So that's the difference till now. And next I'm gonna pick this shade right here, this one. Okay, I won't say this shadow has the best color payoff in this palette. I'm talking about this color only, because I had to reapply it 5-6 times to get this pigmentation, but it's nicely buildable and easy to blend. Everything is good, but if you want maximum pigment, then you have to be patient. You have to reapply it quite a few times. And now I'm going to use the same color on the inner corner. And now it's time to pick a similar shade from this palette, and I think this shade right here, it's called Red Ochre, is pretty close to this shade from WetnWild palette. So let's just apply it, and I'm gonna apply it in the same way on both the corners of my eyes. They are looking pretty close color wise, but this one doesn't need that many times of reapplication. It didn't take that much time to build on the shade. It's very nicely pigmented. And now I'm going to use the same color on the inner corner. So far both the eyes are looking almost same, pretty close, and I'm really enjoying filming this video. I really want to know, why did I spend that much money on this while I can get from this palette, from a $5 palette, the same look. So let's start applying a different shade, but the only difference is I had to put little more effort on the side to layer up the shade to, you know, build on the color, where in the side it was easier to get the pigmentation. So this is it. So let's start with this color right here. This is called Venetian Red. Also putting this shade in the outer corner and in the inner corner. I'm gonna do a hollow eye look today, and trying to use as many shades as possible from both the palettes. And as you can see, the application is done. Everything is looking very well blended. And now let's start with this palette, and I'm gonna use this shade. Okay, this shade has got better pigment in compared to the previous one. I mean, it's better than this one. And one thing which really impressed me, that is it doesn't have as much fallout as the ABH one. When you take the product, it doesn't produce that much of fallout. You can't see extra powder all over the palette, but when you take the shadow from this palette, especially from this matte shades, it produces a lot of loose pigments or fallouts. So this is it. And now I'm gonna put little bit of concealer on the center of my eyelids. And now the concealer is on. I'm gonna apply this metallic golden shade right here. This is called Primavera. But before I pick the shade, I need to dampen up the brush. I literally love all the shimmers in ABH palette. They are very creamy and get set very easily if you applied wet. And this was it, but I'm gonna blend the edges after applying the shimmer from this palette. And now I'm gonna take this shimmer right here. This is the closest one of this shade, so let's just apply it. Okay, this one is also good. I never really used two different palettes at the same time, so I used to think the shimmers from this palette are not as good as the ABH one. Definitely it takes a little more work to, you know, put the shimmer on place, but they both are looking really good. This one has very good sheen to it, very pigmented, but not completely similar. It has a little more rose gold sort of a tone to it, where this one is the ABH one is more of a champagne gold. So this was it, and now I'm gonna take this shade right here. It's called Red Ochre, which I used earlier to blend the edges. And for this eye, definitely I'm gonna pick this shade right here. Okay, this is how it turned out after blending the edges. And on the side, the Wet n Wild side, the shimmer is not as shimmery as this one, and this one is little different, not the complete same shade. So this was it, and now let's do the lower lash line. For that, I'm gonna pick this shade from this palette one more time, and I'm gonna blend it with this brown shade, blending it all over the lower lash line and using a new brush to pick the shade from this palette. So I'm gonna use this Red Ochre for lower lash line. And now I'm using Maybelline Lasting Drama Eyeliner Pencil. This is in the shade Black to fill the waterline. And now again I'm back to the palette, and I'm taking this brown shade to blend with the kajal or the black liner. So it will intensify the outer corner. And from the ABH palette, I'm taking this shade right here. This is called Cypress Umber to put in the outer lower lash line. Okay, this one looks more dark or intense on eyes, where this one is little sheer pigment. I just reapplied this shadow a few more times to make both the eyes look even, and now you can see how intense it is looking right now. So this is the only thing which is not really great about it, but if you see it from the price aspect, then you shouldn't have any complaint. But yeah, it needs a few more layers to get the better pigment. So this is it, and now I'm gonna draw wing line off camera, and I'm gonna put falsies today to give it more glam finish. So I'll be back in a bit. So I'm back with rest of the things done off camera, and I'm really happy right now with both my eyes. The way they are looking, they're pretty similar, pretty close. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment box. I will wait for it. But I think the shimmer on this eye is looking more bright still now, where this one is fading away, or as I mentioned, they are not exact same shade. So yeah, the only thing which is not really great, if you compare both, then this is not as pigmented as this one. But if you don't compare, then this one has pretty decent pigment, texture, everything for $5 is pretty good. It's a steal from drugstore. If you're just a beginner or don't want to spend a lot of money on makeup, then go with this one. You will never feel disappointed. But Anastasia eyeshadow palettes are one of the best shadow palettes of all time. So I'm not regretting having this, but this is also a good one from drugstore. It doesn't create a hole in your pocket, so definitely it's for everyone. You can definitely give it a try. So this is it all about today's video. I hope you liked watching this, but if you want to see such videos more often on this channel, then please hit the like button below. That way I will know you people are liking it. So this is it. I'll be back with the next one. Till then, bye bye, take care.